Hello everyone and welcome to Sebalicious. Today I'll be making a cold stew soup, gazpacho, with marinated prawns. So I'm just about to do my shopping for it and then we'll get right to it. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you do like what you see, please subscribe, and I'll hope to see you in the next video, which hopefully comes soon. Okay, thank you very much, take care, and let's get to it. Okay, here I got my soup bowl, my measuring jug. I have a spare container for the cooked prawns. Here are the raw prawns, prepared, deveined. Lemon juice, spices, salt, pepper, garlic, bit of sherry vinegar, cayenne pepper, olive oil. Have some chopped coriander. I got my avocados with red onions. Red onions actually stop them from bruising. Well, let's just move that away. I got my tomatoes, the flesh removed. My chopped red peppers and chopped cucumbers with the cucumber the seeds removed. Here I have some sliced onions, white onions. Here's my little frying pan for the prawns, and of course my bowl with sieve, or conical strainer, however you want to call it, and of course my blender from Cuisinart. Okay, so first of all, I'm just going to add my marinade to the prawns, my garlic, my cayenne pepper, salt, paprika, a little tap there, some bit of lemon juice, not too much, just a tiny bit, just more garlic, some olive oil, and then we'll give it a good mix. Give a really nice mix, thorough mix, and then I'm going to place it in the fridge just to chill for about 20 minutes. There you go. Okay, this part I'm just going to uh, remove some liquid from the flesh of the tomatoes. I don't want the seeds in the soup, so that's why I'm doing it this way. Just want to get as much liquid as possible. Tomatoes could be riper. I mean, that's one of the problems I had when creating the soup. But I'm getting some liquid out, so not going to go to waste. So there, I'm just mulching it up as much as I can. Once I've done that, I'll add the liquid to the measuring jug there. Okay, there we are, just about done. Okay, I'm just going to reorganize the workstation a bit so it's not so cluttered. Just move my garnishes aside for later. No, so my belly has gotten away. Okay, here we are. Here's the food processor. Be really careful when using food processors. You know, I mean, when working in the kitchen, only use machinery you've been trained to use. Sharp blades and electricity, of course, only use them if you've been trained. Never use a machine if you have not been trained. That's a very important piece of safety information there. Okay, now I'm adding all my ingredients, my peppers, my tomatoes. Okay, other way around, peppers, just added just now. Onions, it's getting a bit full. Maybe in hindsight I could have done it in batches, but it actually turns out okay. Down the switching on. This particular food processor has a very good safety mechanism. If anything goes wrong, like if it detaches, like the main spinner, for example, the blades, it will automatically switch off. If that makes any sense to anyone who's listening. Okay, now adding some garlic, the olive oil. Now I'm just adding the cucumbers, adding them gradually. Oops, sorry about that. Throw it that way. Adding the rest of the cucumbers. There we go. At the moment, it's looking like it's like a thick paste, but rest assured, once you pass it through a conical strainer or whatever you have, it really will come out, come out very well. I assure you. Yeah, just add the rest of my olive oil to that. The tomato juice from the flesh from earlier. Okay, there we are. That's done. Have to remove the blade first before I detach the compartment. Just getting a little mix. Yes, you can see it's quite thick, but like I said, you pass it through the strainer, conical strainer, whatever you want to call it, or whatever you have at hand. You get the liquid, and you'll be left with this like puree. It's like almost like a vegetarian steak tartare, I suppose. Anyhow, when you see the end product, the presentation, we'll have ideas for presentation. Hope you'll like it. Now let's give it a little taste. Needs a bit of salt and pepper. I'll just add a bit now to it. Then I'm giving it another pulse just to mix it through. I could have just mixed it with a spoon, to be honest with you. I just didn't really need to process it again like that, like I'm about to. But never mind. Next time, just use a spoon. No need to do it this way. There you go. Short pulse. A little mix again. Taste. Always important to taste your food. Always taste your cooking. Never never just send it out into a restaurant if you like tasting it first. You need to make sure the seasoning is correct and there's no problems. It's always important to taste your food throughout the cooking process. There you go. Okay, yes, it doesn't look too promising at the moment. At this point, to be honest, I've also thought myself, oh, hang on, I've screwed things up here, but no, it's fine. There you go. As you can see, I should have done that in batches. Never mind. There you are, just passing it through now. A lot of liquid's coming through. As you can see, there it is. No bits in it, no pieces in it, nice and smooth. Once this process has been complete, I'm actually going to pour the liquid into the measuring jug that's been already cleaned, washed from previously, and save that pulp, if you can call it that, in a plastic container and let it chill down. And while it's chilling down, I'll cook the prawns and let them chill down as well. And of course, as it's a cold soup, you want to chill it down for at least a couple of hours. Make sure it's nice and cold. Okay, here you go. You see you have the pulp and actual liquid itself. Okay, now to the prawns. When you're cooking, when you're using a frying pan or anything else, always add food to a hot pan, never to a cold pan. Particularly when you're frying a steak or prawns or chicken. If you don't, it will just end up stewing the meat. It'll be terrible. A bit of olive oil here. Using olive oil as is already part of the recipe, a bit healthier than normal oil. Personally, I prefer rapeseed oil, even vegetable oil, but olive oil is good. If you want to be healthy, then that's what you use. Not extra virgin olive oil, of course. Use normal olive oil. Extra virgin is better suited for salads due to the strong taste. Olive oil is a lot more delicate. Now just make sure the pan is hot. And literally just cooking these prawns for a minute or two on each side. You don't want overcooked prawns. There we go. Pan could have been a bit hotter, but now let them begin to sizzle. There we go. These prawns have the tail ends on, the shell on the tails. It looks nicer for presentation. It's up to you, of course, if you want to use prawns with a tail on. You don't have to. It looks like liquid's coming out from the frying pan here, but it's actually just the spices. I was a bit worried at first that the liquid it wasn't hot enough to pan, but it was fine. It came out very well. Okay, so we're just putting the prawns in a little container, and then I'm just gonna let them cool first. Just cool down outside first before putting them in the fridge for about 20 minutes to let them cool down. You never put hot food in the fridge straight away. Never do that. Never do that. Let it chill down. If you don't have a blast chiller, then leave it to chill outside for about 90 minutes maximum. Okay, then before putting it in the fridge. If you have a blast chill it down until it reaches 5 or below. Okay. Okay, here we are. Now we're just working on the presentation. As you can see, I have that sort of puree there, the sort of the tomatoes, the cucumber, the onions. I'm using a little sort of like a cookie cutter just in the center of the bowl, just to create a little bit of like a steak tartare, I suppose, something like that in the center, just to give a nice little presentation. It should work quite nicely, and it also adds a different texture to the soup. So there's like different textures. So you have the soup, you have this sort of chopped veg in the center, and then the prawns on top. Of course, in hindsight, what I could have done as well is that the recipe I used, I could have used less vegetables in a food processor. I could have always done half and half. So half of veg going in to make the soup, then the other half a bit later, add it later, but this is all pretty much the same. And here I'm now adding the liquid. It's all been chilled down nice and cold. Here we are now, so pouring a bit in. There we go. There we are. Okay, now I'm just placing the prawns on top. I did cook 3 prawns off initially, but I decided to only add 2 of the prawns. Otherwise, I think it would look a bit too much on the plate. As you can see, I was about to add a 3rd prawn, but wasn't too happy about it, so I decided just to add the 2. There we go. And now I have some spring onions. I'm just rearranging the spring onions as all one color pretty much, the soup. Some greenery really does help bring out the colors. It provides a good contrast, sorry, I should say. Excuse me, sorry, just to make, I just want to sound was making sure it's all looking nice on the plate, not just higgledy-piggledy and not just this plonking it on. And here's some avocado pieces, some fine diced avocado. Once again, I'm not just throwing it onto the plate, chucking it on. I'm sort of thinking how I'm putting it, making sure it's nice and neat. And then finally, I'm going to finish off with some chopped coriander. Just sprinkle it around. I did have some chilies chopped up, but I didn't add them to the actual food processor. Trying the soup, there's actually a bit of spice already to it, and the prawns themselves also have cayenne pepper, so there's enough spice in the soup. I didn't want to overpower the soup with too much chili. Okay, and there you have it. There's the gazpacho soup. A bit closer. So I'm just giving you a little try. As you can see, I'm mixing that sort of puree together to give it the contrast and texture. I mean, what you could argue, of course, with the prawns in particular, is not to have the shell on the tail. You could remove that, because then the customer doesn't have to sort of pick up the prawn. They can just put it on a spoon, eat it whole like that. It's small enough for that. So in hindsight, it could be done that way if you're thinking about service to customers. But the presentation still, it looks all right. I mean, it's one thing I'm trying to improve upon in my cooking is working on presentation. You can see the sort of pictures here of the soup. And there you are, this gazpacho soup, or at least the recipe I followed. Hope you enjoy watching this video. Of course, if you do like what you see, please subscribe. Please leave a comment and suggest what you may want to see next, what you think can be improved upon, what could be done better, what we'd like to see. And if hopefully if you do subscribe, I look forward to you joining me in the next video. So thank you very much and goodbye.